Panther Nation, Rockstar Gang, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to yet another episode of the Rockstar Report. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, please come on over to the YouTube channel. But show your support on both, Throw me a little heart on Twitter. Throw me a little like on Facebook. I hope everyone's having a great day. Happy Monday to all of you guys. So, what y'all think about the Super Bowl? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you thought. I'm going to give you my thoughts. You made us lose the Super Bowl. Loser. How did I make you lose the Super Bowl? You made us lose the Super Bowl, you loser. How did I make you toxic? How does that have anything to do with me? Please explain that to me. Never seen the intro before. Well, that's a new one. That is a new one. Something I've been working on. So let's talk about that Super Bowl last night. First off, let's get it out the way real quick. Appreciate that, Toxic. I really do. I really appreciate that. First off, can we talk about Alicia Keys? Did not realize how good, how thick she is. I did not realize that. So we'll start off with that. Because Alicia Keys was looking mighty fine last night. But that's besides the point. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about ball, right? We're here to talk ball. I thought the halftime show was good. Was it Prince good? No. Was it good, though? Was it better than the weekend? I would say, yeah. Was it better than last year's halftime performance? Yeah. I said that last night. Dude, besides the fact that Usher had to put his grimy hands, had to, make it awkward for everybody, put his hands on her, but, it is what it is. Usher mic messed up. Yeah, I feel that. I think I remember that happening, actually, so that's pretty funny you mentioned that. Toxic. So first things first is the Chiefs, are they a superb dynasty? Like, overtime, it was an overtime thriller. It sealed their third title in 5 years. This was a somatic fitting, like a somatic climax fitting for the Sin City in Las Vegas, right? Because like the Kansas City Chiefs literally orchestrated an epic overtime victory, over the 49ers, and getting their name in the annuals of NFL more as a modern dynasty, right? The 25-22 triumph at Allegiant Stadium not only secured their third Super Bowl crown in 5 seasons, but also solidified their status as gridiron juggernauts. Let's be honest. The Chiefs, they balled out. They made an epic comeback. It was a blockbuster sequel for this in this game. That's what it is. That's the entertainment side of things. Oh, I knew that Toxic. I knew it was a big mistake when it happened. I knew it was a big mistake from the get-go. But, it is what it is. Again, Toxic, I get this comment, and I totally understand it. But at the same time, I'm not going to, I'm not going to live off, the past. You know what I mean? I'm not going to live off the past. Check out your mic. My mic's good. My mic's good. Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me better now? Is that better? But we having issues here, folks. Let me check and make sure. My input, yep. My output, Yeah. All right. I mean, we should be good to go. Is that better? Can y'all hear me better now? Is that better? Is that better? Mic check, mic check. That has to be better. I feel like that's gotta be better. All right. Sorry about that. But this whole narrative with this whole Chiefs game, they engineered a second half comeback and then had overtime heroics. And I thought it was I mean I thought it was a great game from the start to the finish. Yeah, at first it was a little boring, but Jake Mitty's 27-yard field goal initially took the 49ers ahead in that overtime victory, or to send it or put it ahead 22-19 in overtime. But the Chiefs then let this whole indomitable comeback that Patrick Mahomes orchestrated. 13 plays, 75 yards, and then a 3-yard touchdown pass from Cole Harmon, who made it look easy, sealing that victory. It makes static. Thanks for trying. Okay. I don't know. That's weird. Hold on, Donald. Let me. Okay. There we go. Is that better? Hold on. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. Is that better, guys? Less staticky. I gave it the old Nintendo try there. You remember when you had to blow in the Nintendo games and you put it back in 64? Stupid YouTube, no notification or nothing. Marcos, you're in the Discord too. I even added it in the Discord. I'm surprised you didn't get it. Appreciate you being here though. What up, Panther Nation? Step on that like button. Yes, sir. Marcos knows what's up, man. He's got this down pat. There you go. So Donald, that's better. Toxic, that's better. Mike's not as staticky. Please let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if it's better. I hope so. I hope it's better. So anyways, let's get back. Let me start over to about this whole thing. Let me start over with the whole Super Bowl narrative here because okay, perfect. All right, so we're good. Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties with the mic, but sounds like we are good to go. Basically, this was a movie made in Sin City. All right, a football movie. All right, in my opinion, because the Kansas City basically orchestrated this epic overtime victory against the San Francisco 49ers. They got their name into that NFL dynasty narrative, right? And now with that 25-22 victory in Las Vegas, securing their third Super Bowl over in 5 years, has that solidified the Kansas City Chiefs as an NFL dynasty? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. Now, another thing. Let's break it down this game first off, because this whole narrative of this whole blockbuster of a game was engineered by a second half comeback by the Kansas City Chiefs. They punctuated their overtime heroics. I was into this game from the very beginning. Yeah, at first it was boring, but it was still entertaining to me, right? And obviously the halftime show I thought was good. I thought Usher had one of the best performances, in my opinion, one of the best performances um in a long time, at least from a standpoint of halftime performances. Like I thought it was better than last year's. I thought it was better than the weekends the year before. The weekends, because everybody was talking about how good the weekends was. I thought Usher's was better.
I thought Usher did a great job. I'm surprised he didn't bring out Justin Bieber. That was one thing during the halftime show. I was surprised he didn't bring out Justin Bieber. He did bring out Little John, Ludacris, obviously. Um, of course, Alicia Keys. We got to talk about how fine she looked. Thick. I didn't realize she was that thick. Did not realize how thick she was, and that's all in the good ways and good places. But back to the game though, Jake Moody hits this 27-yard field goal, right? At 22-19 in overtime. The Chiefs go down the field 75 yards, a 13-play orchestrated by Pat Mahomes, 13-play, 75 yards, and then an easy 3-yard touchdown pass to McCold Hardman, right? The Kansas City Chiefs, for their late game heroics, has become one of the most I would have to say it had to be a legendary moment, right? I mean, I think we could all agree to that, right? Or maybe some of you don't, but with Mahomes, orchestrated get a must-have drive when it mattered most. Trailing 19-16, right? In that warning moments of the regulation, Mahomes orchestrated a 75-yard in 11 plays to set up Harris Buckner's game tying field goal. So that was even before that, the one to win the game, which they had to have that pivotal 22-yard connection to Travis Kelce, which was on a crucial 3rd and 7. So, here's the thing. Andy Reid, now an elite company with his 3rd Super Bowl, obviously joins that panel of coaching greats. So he's got to be standing shoulder to shoulder. I feel like with guys like the Bill Walshes or Joe Gibbs, right? The significance of 3 titles in 5-year window elevates the Chiefs into this stratosphere, I think, reserved for the greatest runs in league history, right? 3 Super Bowl victories in the last 5 years. Igniting conversations about their place among NFL dynasties. Now, Mahomes, of course, earned his 3rd Super Bowl MVP. Joining the elusive ranks of Tom Brady and Joe Montana, he went 34, as you can see here, 34, 46 for 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and has Patrick Mahomes cemented his legacy as one of the greatest of all time already. Because he's already got a staggering playoff record of 15-3 in his 6-year career. He's 28 years old. So now that's another thing. He's only 28. Can Patrick Mahomes catch Brady? Will Patrick Mahomes catch Brady? And here's the thing let's talk about the 49ers real quick, because in this whole thing, the defeat was a bitter pill to swallow for the 49ers. Had to be. Kyle Shanahan, who had another chance at a Super Bowl, who's otherwise has had a stellar career as a coach, but the championship drought for this team extends to 29 seasons now, and this is their 2nd time being in the Super Bowl, I think, in the last 5 or 6 years, right? Because then they lost to Kansas City the last time they were in the Super Bowl. That was Patrick Mahomes' 1st Super Bowl victory or 1st Super Bowl appearance and victory. I'm trying to remember. But anyways, and apparently San Francisco, there's rumors out there that they didn't realize the new rules of overtime. So the Chiefs' path to glory was marked by adversity with a late season surge, really defying all the odds, silencing the doubters. overcoming a tumultuous regular season where there was a lot of inconsistencies. They had the league's worst drop rate of 44. They had 44 drops by receivers. So Kansas City somehow resolved that and shined at the brightest moment when it mattered the most and accumulated a stunning late season resurgence and then a historical Super Bowl triumph. The Chiefs' triumph isn't just about the spectacle on the field. It's about the larger in life narrative. I think that that has captivated us NFL fans worldwide, because from the Kelsey headlines making all this relationship pops, with Taylor Swift, and to intense that spotlight that followed the team throughout the season. Kansas City's journey to glory transcended the gridiron and now has becoming a culture phenomenon. I mean, the Chiefs stand at this stage of immortality. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is leading the NFL, and the possibilities are limitless. I mean, it really is. I mean, this could be one of the greatest dynasties of all time. And I don't, there's rumors that Andy Reid might retire. I don't see Andy Reid retiring. I think he'll coach for another 3 to 4 years if this continues. And try to build that legacy here. I didn't even watch the quote. A few people said Taylor Swift got way too much screen time. She got a lot. You could have, what's crazy, a bit of glitches. You could have bet on how many times Taylor Swift got shown in the Super Bowl. Like, you could have seen, she did bite size. Yeah. Is this thing on? Super Bowl sucked. Well, I mean, you don't have to. Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL. His fire to win is unmatched. Yeah, Rock. It's not even close. There's nobody even close to him right now. Yeah, a lot of screen time for sure. I'm saying that this now. Mike Evans is going to the Chiefs. Damn, toxic. Throwing that out there. I feel you. Not gonna lie, I'd rather see Tom Brady win Super Bowls than Taylor Swift's Chiefs. I feel you. Chiefs have no money. They need to shed stars. 49ers will not be able to afford Purdy. Mahomes is gonna restructure. I don't know, toxic. Comes to the Falcons. Good Lord. Kyrito, what's up? It's been a while since I've seen you in here. Long story, some good, some bad. That's how it always works, Kyrito. Some good, and there's always some bad, right? Yes, Clay, we all read the script. Oh my god. Why was it a bad trade for CMC? The Panthers did not use him right. O-line garbage. It's just the fact of the matter, the talent. It's a bad trade because that's exactly right. We didn't use him right. And we could have in the way that San Francisco uses them, but we didn't. You know what I mean? So that's where it gets frustrating. All right. Let's get into some insights on this Carolina Panthers season. All right. Now, first things first. We're going to go over the salary cap, and we're going to go over how we can fix this team. Okay? We're going to go over the salary cap first today, because there's a lot of uncertainty looming this offseason, right? Okay? And, with the cap space issues, right? With approximately $30 million, right, in cap space, the Panthers are going to have to figure out how to navigate some of these contract negotiations, some of these strategic investments. The fastest route takes about 34 minutes via SC31. Alexa, Stop. What the freak? Alexa's going crazy over there. Obviously to maneuver some of these contracts, we're gonna have to go over it. Like we've got 30 like here. Let me make this bigger because I know y'all can't see that. That's better. All right, so Kyrie, you can't let things get to you too easily. You cannot let things get to you too easily. That's got to be better. So look, $30 million in cap space. So we're going to have to figure out how we can update this. Now, looks like there's new features that you can sign free agents. You can process a pay cut or raise. You could trade a player. Nice. All right. So that's new. So we're going to go through the cap space today and we're going to edit this team's cap space. Now, we got all these free agents that we're going to go over as well, right? Because we lost our first round pick, as well. So we're going to go over free agency. We're going to go over drafts as well. We're going to break everything down from the NFL draft, from the free agency, and from the cap space. So how we can maneuver that as well. Because we're going to have to make some savvy moves in free agency, I believe, and in the draft to really get rebuild this roster properly. Okay. Now, there's a lot of high price free agents out there still that are right now. But our main focus is obviously depth, talent across multiple positions rather than having flashy signings. Okay. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. We have to navigate these treacherous waters of contract negotiations when it comes to strategically investing, and it's going to require skillful maneuvering by Brant Tillis to do so. Now, you have some decisions to make on players like Frankie Louvu and Brian Burns. Those are it's testy, right? It's very testy. Now, obviously for Dan Morgan, there are some difficult decisions you have to make, especially when it comes to these things, especially in the draft, addressing the pressing roster needs. This team has to make a clear vision of what course they want to take to get back to the successful ways of the keep pounding culture that has made us a winning football team during during our winning years, right? Back when Jake Delhomme, back when Cam Newton was around, right? Those were days, right? So we got to get back to that. Now, another thing is that when you prepare to do this, right? The off-season moves, there's a lot of tough choices. And a lot of it's risk, a lot of it's luck, a lot of it's strategic, right? It's all in one. That's why there's so much uncertainty here, right? Now, there are certain players that I just don't think that need to be here. Ian Thomas is one of them, and Terrace Marshall Jr. is another. There's a list of potential casualties out there for sure for us that we can go through and say that, well, this guy's gone. But you also have to be willing to shed some dead weight and to make this roster more agile. Now, obviously, the point of action for our offseason, right, is to help out Bryce Young as much as possible. I truly believe that that's what Carolina is going to do. That is their ultimate goal, to build around Bryce Young, to make Bryce and build off his strengths and develop him, right? That's what Canales is going to do, and that's what Dan Morgan is going to do in the draft. And, of course, Brant Tillis and him are going to put their heads together to be able to sign free agents. Now, that is obviously their plan, right? But here's the thing. Another thing is that we also have to realize is that we need to have steady leadership and a clear eye of determination to weather this storm here in Charlotte, because the Panthers have to become very ambitious and willing to resolve the issues that they do have. Now, let's say they extend Brian Burns. Okay, what would that contract look like? Okay, so if we go to free agents, actually, I could just type his name in. Actually, no, it'll be right here. So if we go to Brian Burns, right? Let's see here. Now, obviously, we know he's looking for a $30 million contract, but his market value says otherwise. So here we go. So right now, his base salary is at $16 million. So this is his current situation, right? All right. Now, if we go, let's see, market value, $21.7 million. Basically, his contract would be around 5 years, $108 million. All right. Now, Joey Bosa, right? He's got a $27 million average, $28 million average, 34 by Nick, and 25 by Miles. I mean, I think that his market value is right on the money. I really think he's around. I've always said he's around 22, 23. I said his high. I've always said his high is 25, maybe 26, but that's it. Like, he hasn't. Is he a great? Like, I've told y'all this before, and I'll tell you again. I think Brian Burns is a great player. I just don't think he's elite. Right? So, what's his contract going to look like? He could be making one of the highest paid defensive players in the league just because of his youth and athleticism. He does have an impact on the field, but investing in Burns is a financial decision, and it's got to be a strategic move and the right move for the Carolina Panthers. Whether that's true or not, I don't know if it's the right move. I don't think they can afford him based off of our salary, or not based off our salary, but based off our cap space. Again, in that scenario, you got to think about also the fact that you have to extend Frankie Louvu. So if we go look at Frankie Louvu, and keep in mind that next year you're going to have to look at extending or signing Derek Brown. Now, as of right now, Frankie Louvu, you're looking at $11.2 million average salary, right? That's his market value. So a 4-year, $45 million average salary. I mean, it makes sense. So you got to think about extending him too, right? You got to think about extending him too. So, you can get this guy for $11 million, right? We could sign him. So we could extend Frankie Louvu. But then you got to go look at Derek Brown, because Derek Brown is obviously who you want to build around on this defense, in my opinion. Derek Brown, point guard. Right. Now, his is around 11.7 as well, his average salary. The market value for him is around 3 years, $35 million. I could see him getting a little bit more. I could see him getting around Ed Oliver's contract. 7. I mean, I really could. I could see it even being not maybe even more after the season he had this year. But again, you got to secure your defensive powerhouse, because then you risk losing him on the highest bidder the next year. So, to me, I think Carolina re-signs Louvu, tags and trades Brian Burns, and looks forward to trying to obviously sign and extend Derek Brown. All right. So then let's get back to our team here. And let's go over some contract situations. Now, here's the thing. We're going to go manage this roster real quick. Because there is multiple things that we could do here to save us some money. Number one, you can restructure Taylor Moton. Now, this would be his second time restructuring him. But again, I just don't know if they would allow that to happen. Yeah, we're not going to trade Brian Burns for not only to end the division, but for a second rounder. And just a second rounder, yeah. Yeah, I think so too, Marcos. They're definitely the foundation of this thing. Toxic says I would take that in a heartbeat. You would take a second rounder in a heartbeat for him? I don't know. I would try to trade him for Washington and get their two second round picks. That's what I would do. We should be back, he should be back, YGM. Yeah, he should be back. The fullback for the 49ers, the free agent, should the Panthers get him? I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I just don't know. Now, another thing here. Now, some of you might not agree with me because there's a lot of moves we can make here to save a lot of money. All right. Number one, restructuring Taylor Moton. Okay. Number two, you cut Dante Jackson. See? Look at the savings over here, guys. Look at the savings. Now, as we're going through this, make sure you keep in mind what I'm doing here. Hey, what's up, Pantherology? Random question. Do you think the possibility McCaffrey might come back? No. There will never be a scenario where Christian McCaffrey ever wears a Carolina Panthers jersey, ever. Ever. When he leaves the 49ers, or should they make a move to get him if he leaves? I just don't see it happening. And I don't see Christian McCaffrey leaving San Francisco. That's just me. All right, so far we've made two moves. You restructure Taylor Moton, right? And you save $6 million, right? What's up, Supernova? Clay, my brother, what you say? Not much, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. So, guys, if you're just tuning in, we're going over the cap space. We're going to be breaking down free agency, and we're going to be breaking down the NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers. I just broke down the Super Bowl, but you can always go back and watch this. This is also replayable. All right. I heard Hassan Reddick is asking for a trade. He might be. I haven't heard that. I don't know. I mean, it's a rumor. But you never know. We'll find out. Derrick Henry to the Panthers, Kyrito. I don't think so. I just don't see a world where we sign Derrick Henry with Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders on this roster, unless somehow, some way, which we're going to go over here shortly, we can get rid of Miles Sanders or restructure his contract, one or the other. I just don't see it happening. We should extend Shaquille Griffin, cut Dante Jackson. So we've already restructured over here Taylor Moton, right? Okay. But then we cut Dante Jackson. So why did we cut Dante Jackson? Well, we restructured Taylor Moton's contract for basically $6.5 million. Okay. Then you saved with releasing Dante Jackson basically $5 million. So now we're at $42 million. Okay. All right. We're at $42 million. Now, another thing we're going to do here is we're going to restructure Von Bell. That's another one. All right. We got to restructure Von Bell, or you need to trade him and put Jeremy Chin back in his position. It's one or the other. Okay. I wish I could restructure Austin Corbett, but I can't. Now, another one we could do here is you could restructure Hayden Hurst or you trade him. Again, it comes down to who the guys we need to really look at, because so we're going to get into Miles Sanders, and then Terrace Marshall Jr. These are some guys that I'm just like, we've got to cut ties or make some strategic moves when it comes to these salaries, right? Because number one, Terrace Marshall Jr. was supposed to be this promising talent, but he is non-existent here, right? The expectations of Miles Sanders were high. Then he comes back, he comes on the field and fails to deliver, right? Hayden Hurst signed it with some high hopes, but has had a lot of inconsistency, and he had a major, a big time concussion injury. So that future for him remains to be seen. You got Ian Thomas, who had unfulfilled potential and just became one of the most disappointing productions ever, right? But these guys have got to go. Now, here's the thing about Dante Jackson. So here's the reason why I went with Dante Jackson here, is because Dante Jackson has been a roller coaster ride for us, right? Has had his brilliant moments, but has some lapses in the consistency, right? Inconsistency. And while his play has improved in 2023, the questions about the long-term viability as a top-tier cornerback does linger, right? So the significant cap savings are on the line. So the Carolina has to make a difficult decision when regarding Dante Jackson's future, whether it's through a trade, right? We could have done that too. We could have traded him here, right? We could have traded him. Wait, no. So we're going to trade Dante Jackson. Arizona, we could have traded him for, what do we need, right? What could we trade him for? What would be sick if we could trade him for like a guard like Will Hernandez over in Arizona, or Buffalo. Maybe we could trade him to Buffalo. They need another corner possibly, right? Maybe we could trade him for a Connor McGovern. I don't know. But again, you could trade him, whatever the case may be, right? So you could process that trade, right? And you do that and you still save $5.9 million. Whatever the case may be, who they trade him for, right? Maybe they trade him for draft capital. It is what it is. So whatever the case may be there. All right, so let me reset this. All right, so let's get back. So we're going to restructure Taylor Moton. So again, why are we going to restructure Taylor Moton? Well, Taylor Moton's Taylor Moton's reliability on the offensive line makes him a prime candidate for salary cap adjustments. Again, I know this would be his second time going, so we're kind of messing with his money. But again, you free up that valuable cap space by generating their deals with essential pieces of the roster puzzle. You're taking that money to do so, right? It's a delicate balance act that could it plays dividends in the NFL. And the Panthers are going to have to make some difficult decisions and ask some difficult questions to some players like Taylor Moton and like Von Bell to make this team competitive. Now, again, we're gonna cut Dante. We're gonna trade Dante Jackson. Now, I wish I could trade him for picks. Like, I wish I could see what I could trade him for picks here, but you can't. You can only do players. So I'm just gonna process the trade like we traded him away, because I'd rather trade him than release him and not get anything out of him. I feel like I could at least get a 5th round pick for him, right? Now if we go into, let's see here. Now let's go to Von Bell. Okay, so another thing is that Von Bell has a steady presence in, the secondary, but again, we got to make salary cap adjustments, and I feel like for a guy who's 30 years old, he's only got enough 2 more years on his contract. I'd rather just restructure it, and I save $2.3 million. Okay. Now, another thing is you've got to make another decision. Now, with Hayden Hurst, I just don't know if someone's going to pick up a 31-year-old tight end who is coming off a major concussion injury. That is a tough question. Who on the trade market for Panthers can help the rebuild? I don't know. There's free agents, and then there's of course the draft, but guys who are willing to be traded right now, that's another ball game. I don't know. Ian Thomas has to go as he survived any coaching staff. Yeah, I mean, so let's go ahead and knock that one out real quick. So let's find Ian Thomas. Where's Ian Thomas at? Is he up here? Good Lord, yeah. So we're going to cut Ian Thomas. We're not even going to try to trade him. And we're going to cut, who else are we going to cut? Where's he at? There he is, Terrace Marshall. We're going to cut him too. So we're going to release Ian Thomas and release Terrace Marshall. We saved $2.2 million off of releasing Ian Thomas, and we saved $1.4 million off of Terrace Marshall. Now, there are some other guys here that I do want to talk about. Now, this $6.2 million, that's Shaq. Shaq's another guy we've got to talk about too. All right, so we're going to talk about Shaq Thompson too, because we really need to think long term here, right? Shaq Thompson's a 30-year-old middle linebacker who's on his last year of his contract. Jarvis comes in and says, this new coach of ours is interesting. I sure can't wait to see what him and Dan Morgan will do. So hopefully we'll get new players we want. Do we build O-line first like Cowboys did in draft before they get Dak? Kyrito, we're definitely going, whether it's in free agency or whether it's, in the draft. I would love to, get a guy in the free agency to fill the right guard, left guard position. And then, get another, draft a new center. And I would love to draft. I'm going offensive line. All right. As much as I know that at that 33 pick, I could get like a Donian Mitchell or maybe possibly Troy Franklin or Xavier Legette, wide receiver, right? I just feel like that the biggest thing is that we have to build within the trenches to protect Bryce, right? He is your focal point. That is what this whole coaching staff is about. That's what Dave Canales said. We're going to build around Bryce and we're going to build to his strengths. And that is what they're going to do, whether you believe that or not. All right, so we went ahead and cut. We restructured Taylor Moton. We traded Dante Jackson. I think you could at least get some picks for him, maybe like a 5th round pick. Okay. You restructured Von Bell, right? We released Ian Thomas when we released Terrace Marshall Jr. Now, let's get into something else here. Now we got to talk about Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen and Shaq have to be at some crossroads here, because Thielen, unexpected resurgence has raised some eyebrows, right? But he is a hefty cap space hit, guys, if you can't tell, which presents a dilemma for our front office, right? Similarly, for Shaq Thompson's leadership and on-field production, does make him a valuable asset, yet his contract situation definitely looms large over our heads. So these are some tough choices that we have to make ahead, because the Panthers have to weigh the costs and benefits of retaining these seasoned veterans or exploring alternative avenues. Another thing is you're taking a banking. You're taking a risky move keeping Austin Corbett on this roster. And here's the reason why. He tore his ACL. He comes back this year. He comes back after 6-7 games in the regular season, 8 games, whatever it was. Comes back, plays, fine, plays again. I think it was the second game back or third game back. He tears his MCL in the same knee. Right? I mean, the guard position is very thin. I don't know how bad Brady Christensen tore his bicep. Right? That's another issue. The guard position. Bradley Bozeman had a terrible year. Center position. I think that we have got to fill the inside first before we think about filling those guards, or before we fill those skill position players. So I'm hoping that Corbett recovers, right? And I'm hoping that obviously Christensen recovers. But I can't bank on Corbett. Mainly, it's more Corbett than it is Christensen for me. I can't bank on a guy that tore his ACL, comes back, only plays 2 or 3 games, and tears his MCL in the same knee. To ensure and to feel that to feel trustworthy enough, or I guess to feel that he can play at that same level his first year here and have a stable offensive front for our starting quarterback. And I think setting the stage for this team is resurging the trenches first. So, are we going to be able to trade him? Probably not. And I'm not going to release him, so he's still on the team. When it comes to Hayden Hurst, though, I think that you could restructure him, but I also could see where you could trade him. I don't know if someone's going to trade like I said, I just don't know if Hayden Hurst is going to get traded because, again, Hayden Hurst has the inability to make a significant impact in the passing game. I think that there is a world where we could see this, where we just cut it. And we end up taking a big $9 million cap hit. But I could see it, but I mean, again, I might not see it. I could see, I don't know. It's such a tough call, man. It's such a tough call for Hayden Hurst because I don't know. Because right now we're at 49 million, right? Where did Hayden Hurst go anyways? So hold on. Restructure. So we're going to restructure him, trade him, restructure Vaughn, or trade him. I mean, the only thing I think that makes sense is you restructure Hayden Hurst. I don't think you're going to be able to trade him. You restructure his contract. Now, you could trade Adam Thielen, or you could restructure his contract. Again, I don't know. I don't know what they do with Thielen. Again, that's another issue with the Thielen thing is that even though he's been reliable, you're still paying a 34-year-old tight end. You're paying him this coming season $9.9 million. I don't see a world where Adam Thielen takes a restructure. I don't. I really, really don't. I think they end up if he's not willing to restructure, I see a world where it ends up being a trade, and you trade him. And if you trade him, you save $3.2 million. Miles Sanders, I think you could restructure him, right? Obviously, you're going to cut Ian Thomas. And then where's Terrace Marshall Jr.? And you're going to cut Terrace Marshall. So these are the 8 moves that I can see possibly where we could save $16 million We get around $56 million in cap space. You restructure Taylor Moton. You trade away Dante Jackson. You restructure Von Bell. You might be able to trade Hayden Hurst, but we're going to go with the restructure. You say 2.3. I don't see a world where Adam Thielen restructures his contract. So either they keep him and they just keep the contract, or they trade him away, right? Because he wants to be on a contender. We know that. Restructure Miles, unless I mean, it's a terrible contract for what production we're got out of him. And you obviously release Ian Thomas and release Terrace Marshall. Now, another thing you could do is you sign Jeremy Chin and you trade away Von Bell instead. You trade away Von Bell. I mean, there is a world where that could be a possibility. And then you save yourself even more money. So that is just my way of fixing it. We get $60 million. You go into free agency with $56 to $60 million. You might have something. I think that, I think Thielen wants a trade to Austin Wright. That knee is shot. I feel that for sure. Thielen can get traded for a 5th or a 6th. Yeah, I think so. Canals runs a different scheme too, which doesn't benefit Bozeman. No, it doesn't. So it's like, what are you going to do with Bozeman? You could his contract too. There could be a place where they restructure his contract. Like, if we're going to restructure contracts, Bozeman could be one of them, right? Bozeman could be one of them. Von Bell could be one of them. I got to find, where is Von Bell on this? Yeah. I mean, you could restructure Bozeman, but you're not going to really get much out of it. So again, that's some ways we could save some money. At least at least what I'm seeing, that would be best. Whether you decide to restructure Von Bell or trade him, that's one. Whether you trade Adam Thielen, or you just pay him what it is. Now you can either restructure Hayden Hurst, or maybe you can try to trade him. I know for sure the first two things I'm doing though, as a GM, is I'm releasing Ian Thomas. I'm releasing Ian Thomas and I'm releasing Terrace Marshall. Let them go. I would trade Bell instead of the guy we drafted Chin. Yeah, I'd much rather. I wasn't mad about it. Right, guys? I wasn't mad about it. The signing of Von Bell, but I just don't see the point of having him here when you got Jeremy Chin. I'd rather trade this guy away, get some picks. Hayden Hurst, I'm just going to restructure his contract. Adam Thielen, you're either just pay him or you trade him. I think he wants to go, so I'm going to trade him. I don't think you're going to get much for Hayden Hurst, so I would just restructure his contract. I would restructure Miles Sanders. I would restructure Bradley Bozeman. I would actually try to trade away Shaq Thompson, because again, what has he done? What has he done? I'm trading him. And then I'm cutting Ian Thomas and I'm cutting Terrace Marshall. These are the moves I'm making. These 10 moves is what saves us $16 million in savings. Now, I know there might be some dead cap hit here, which I can't see right now. It's not showing me, but that's okay. That's okay. I think you restructure Taylor Moton if he's willing to. If he's not willing to, you make a trade. Sorry. You're 30 years old. You're getting paid way too much money. Yeah, you might be the most reliable source at the on our offensive line, but if you want to win a championship here and you want to build a championship team, sacrifices are going to have to be made. Whether it's restructuring contracts, whether it's trading away players, sacrifices are going to have to be made. Guys, if you're just tuning in, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. But make sure you pound the like button. We have had over 25 people at one point, so there's no reason why we shouldn't have 25 likes. Okay? All right, so make sure you pound that like button as you're coming in. That's all I ask. So for me, you have to restructure Taylor Moton, though, and hopefully he will, right? Hopefully he'll be a team player. Obviously, it's either trade or cut Dante Jackson. Either way you do it, you're saving $5.9 million, right? Trade away Von Bell or restructure his contract. Either way, you're saving money. Hayden Hurst, I doubt you're getting anything for him. So I probably would just restructure him, right? And just take the risk of keeping him on the team. Adam Thielen, there's a scenario where I think that, as you can see here, there is a scenario where I think that they trade him because he's 34 years old and his contract is just too much money. And he also wants to be on a contending team. And we are in full rebuild mode. Restructuring Miles Sanders, because what the fuck did he do last season? Restructure Bradley Bozeman after a bad season, for sure. Now, you could trade Shaq Thompson, but that might not be good because you don't really save any money with trading Shaq. So I was wrong on that. You actually lose money for trading Shaq. It's actually pretty bad. Yeah, and see the dead caps down here. This is all the dead cap money. So maybe trading away Shaq Thompson wouldn't be a good idea. But releasing Ian Thomas for sure and releasing Terrace Marshall, just let alone those two, releasing those two, you save almost $5 million. But I would probably I probably wouldn't trade Shaq Thompson. I would probably just do what I've done here. Restructure Taylor Moton, save $6.5 million. Trade Dante Jackson, save $5.9 million. I would actually trade Von Bell because I think Jeremy Chin is just, I'd rather take the youth here and save $7 million, right? Restructure Hayden Hurst, trade away Adam Thielen to a contender, restructure Miles Sanders, restructure Bradley Bozeman. Actually, that number 81, Shaq Thompson, this one, we're going to cross that out. No, sir. We're going to keep him here. Release Ian Thomas and release Terrace Marshall Jr. And that's it. And you save yourself over $16 million. Yeah, there might be some dead cap hit, but at the end of the day, we're going to have some cap space and we're going to have some room. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. If JPJ is there at 33, you should you drafting him or you going somewhere else? It all depends on the left guard and right guard position and who, and because who knows where these guys are going to go. I mean, that's the unpredictability of the NFL draft. Would I want JPJ? Absolutely. I've got him very high on my draft board. It all depends though, man. It all depends on how that whole first round goes. So, and the other picks that we do have, if we make any trades, what's up with, if Brian Burns gets tagged in trade, what do we get out of it? That could be a situation, right? I don't know. I mean, that could be a possibility, Kyrito. Could be a possibility. We don't know. Let's see what Brantills does with this cap space. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So, I mean, we're just trying to build a brighter future here, right? With this whole ordeal. At the end of the day. Now, let's get into the free agency. So we went over the cap space, right? I told y'all what I want to do. I said we want to restructure Taylor Moton. We want to trade Dante Jackson. We want to trade Von Bell. Okay. We want to restructure Hayden Hurst. We want to trade Adam Thielen. Right. We want to restructure Miles. We want to restructure Bradley. We want to cut Ian Thomas. And we want to cut Terrace Marshall Jr. So that is the cap space moves for me. And that is all your savings here. We do take some dead cap hit from the Dante Jackson trade, the Adam Thielen trade, the Von Bell trade. But it is what it is. We save, we open up some room for the cap space. Now, let's go into the free agencies. I forgot I can go on the free agents here. Now, we've got to look at some of these guys here. And we all know that we're trying to build a brighter future here in Carolina. So the first person that I'm going to bring up here, we're going to go with the right tackle. Or maybe it's left. No, not left. Right tackle. Guard. Sorry. We're going to go with the guard here. And the first person I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to bring up his page if he's in here. There he is. Robert Hunt. Okay, Robert Hunt. This is a guy that is, obviously the Panthers' offensive line's a glaring weakness here, guys. So obviously we want to make our offensive line not look like Swiss cheese and make Bryce less vulnerable, right? Robert Hunt is a powerhouse, okay, from the Miami Dolphins, who could provide immediate stability and strength to this offensive front, okay? Now, he has a proven track record in the pass protection and run support, okay? And he represents a crucial upgrade that could transform this Panthers offense. All right, another guy that I like in this situation. Let's go to an edge. Let's see if I can find him here. There he is. Josh Uche. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Josh Uche. All right. Another guy, right? We're going to bolster up that pass rush, right? Right? Because while the attention obviously gravitates towards the offense, I get that, guys. I get that. But we cannot overlook what our defense does need. And Josh Uche stands out to me because not only is his market value good, but he's also been a standout performer for the New England Patriots, and he offers a tantalizing solution, in my opinion. Now, his ability to bring pressure to the quarterback position could provide, I think, that perfect either replacement or, unless they decide to keep Brian Burns, complement, right, to really rejuvenate this Carolina Panthers pass rush and instill fear into opposing teams' offenses, right? Let's go back out of here again, and let's go into another free agent. We're going to go into the cornerback position here. And Kendall Fuller, okay? I like Kendall Fuller as well. Okay, in a league where, the pass reigns supreme, you need to solidify your secondary, right? So Kendall Fuller is consistent, and has good leadership, and could be an answer for our defensive needs in that position. Whether covering short routes or providing, veteran guidance, I think Fuller presents an elevation of where he could help our defense take some new heights, at least from a leadership role perspective, right? Now, let's go over to the wide receiver position. Okay, now let's go to Mr. Calvin Ridley. Market value puts him there. Now, obviously, to support Bryce Young's development, what do you need? Skilled players. You need to surround him with some dynamic playmakers. I think Calvin Ridley could be a potential free agent from Jacksonville that offers that precisely, right? The knack of creating separation, that game-changing ability that we're looking for. I think bringing him in would be very helpful, right? Another veteran in that spot too. If we go back into the wide receiver position, Mike Evans. Now, obviously, this is a long shot due to the fact of how much he wants to get paid, his market value, but also, obviously his name's been thrown around due to the fact of bringing Canales in here. Obviously, we're doing this whole thing. It's a complete overhaul here in Carolina, right? We all understand that, right? It's a complete overhaul. From not only from an offensive side, but defensive side, coaching staff, all those things, right? Obviously, Mike Evans is a top target on this market because he's consistent and he's got that veteran leadership. So obviously, he would be a very, very reliable target for Bryce Young. But his potential availability, I think, it presents a very hard opportunity for us to really be able to afford him and bring him in here. Okay. Now, another free agency here that I think that would be great to bring in. And we're going to go back to the guard position here. Let me find him real quick. Kevin Dotson. Where are you at? Kevin Dotson. I think I missed him. Let's look up Kevin Dotson. There he is. So Kevin Dotson, all right, out of the Rams. Obviously, offensive line. Again, this guy would be another great candidate right there with Robert Hunt to bolster up this offensive line. You've heard me talk about him before. He has his proven ability to excel in very diverse schemes. So I think that would fit. He can provide that stability. Now, between him and Robert Hunt would be the more financial, I would say more the financial, he would be less financial compensation than Kevin Dotson would be. But both are very good at what they do. Both can provide an impact to this team immediately and bring some stability to this offensive line. All right. Now, another long shot would be this man right here. And I think Mike Evans is a long shot too. But the second, obviously, we're hungry. I still think we're hungry for secondary talent, right? In the secondary. I think Jalen Johnson stands out as a transformative addition. He's got a lot, his blend of skill and potential could form a formidable partnership, I think, with J.C. Horn, right? Laying that foundation on that defensive, back dominance, right, in Carolina. That'd be nice. Obviously, another long shot would be this man right here. Josh Allen out of Jacksonville, another Jacksonville Jaguar here. Obviously, trying to ignite that pass rush. That he's got. The thing is about Josh Allen, he's got explosive playmaking abilities. Which makes him a very coveted target for the Panthers. And pairing him, if you could, with Brian Birds would be freaking absolutely insane. But I don't know if that would absolutely, happen, right? I just don't know. An edge rushing dynamic duo, striking fear into habits. I just don't know, right? I just don't know. Jonah Jackson, left guard out of Lions. Yeah, that's another one. Good call. Good call. Who free agent wide receivers? Again, Calvin Ridley's one, Marquise Brown, Gabe Davis, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman Jr., who else is out there? T. Higgins. I don't know if I'm missing any other wide receivers. I mean, there's more, but those are the big names, I would say. Jackson may be too expensive though, for sure. Smash that like and subscribe. Dom34, appreciate you, man. Black Mamba's coming in saying left tackle is going to be Brady. Left guard is going to be Icky. Bozeman in center. Corbett at right guard. Need a new center. Yeah, I mean, Black Mamba, I don't see Brady Christensen moving to left tackle. I just don't. It's a risk. I think it's too risky to move Icky to left guard. I really do. I think it's a very risky move. I think you keep Icky at left tackle. You keep Brady Christian at left guard, and you go in the draft and free agency, and you try to bring these three things, actually four things, at least if you're going to go with your top priorities between the draft and free agency. This is between both now, guys. This is between both the free agency and the draft. You need wide receiver, left guard, center, right guard, in my opinion. Let's see. I'm trying to get through these comments. I hope we draft the right way, not the same way we've been doing for years now. The question is, will our organization not be scared to draft elite talent and prepare and sign them after their rookie deal or add extensions before the rookie contract is up? Whether we trade up or back in the draft won't matter. If what we are drafting is not playing during their rookie season or pans out in fours, how many more years will we wait for shit picks we wasted? I mean, Dom, I get it. It comes down to trusting now. Can Dan Moore? We will find out if Dan Moore can truly evaluate talent, right? Right, because that's what everybody's throwing that narrative out there, is that Dan Morgan can evaluate talent. We know, I don't think he had anything to do with a lot of the draft when he got here. I don't think he had any say in things. Now that he has a say, right? A say. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Now, another free agent that we could obviously target. Now, some of these are dream scenarios, man. Like some of these that I'm going over, these are dream scenarios. These are very dreams. I mean, they are. I mean, obviously, we're hungry for that number one wide receiver here, right? And I think Carolina does have their sights set on this guy. You know what's kind of interesting to think about too, guys, is that T. Higgins, when he was drafted in the second round, number 33 overall. And it's very interesting because guess who has the second round pick at number 33 overall? The Carolina Panthers. So obviously T. Higgins has that combination of size, speed, playing. I mean, he could provide that spark that we need, right, to really reignite this Panthers offense. But I think it's very ironic how he was drafted and his name's is getting thrown around, right, as a free agent target, that he was drafted in the second round, number 33 overall. I'm just saying I find that funny. I find that pretty funny to me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? All right. So now let's move into the draft picks. So we've gone over cap space. Now we've gone over free agency. Let's move into the last few things. So who will the Carolina Panthers pick number 33 overall? Okay. Who will the Carolina Panthers pick number 33 overall? Now, there's some names out here, all right, that they could pick. All right. All right. First name up, they could pick. All right. Let's go to the wide receiver position. They could pick this cat right here, Lad McMonkey. Junior out of Georgia, 5'11, 187. Had 30 receptions, 478 yards, 2 touchdowns, average 15.9 receiving, right? And got a 40 time of a 4.59, right? And here's the thing, okay? We obviously are going to be at this draft like a kid in the candy store with this wide receiver group, right? That's the thing about this wide receiver group. This wide receiver group is so stacked. This draft class for wide receivers is so stacked. It's like I said, it's like being at a kid in a candy store. So do they here's the thing. Does Carolina opt for the best player available strategy? Do they go that route in this draft? You know, because you got to be mindful. You're trying to build around Bryce Young. You're trying to build around his strengths because that's what they're going to be doing through free agency and the draft. That's what their game plan is. That is the overall ordeal, right? You enter Lad Munkin and this whole kind of, in this whole wide receiver group. This kind of wide receiver who's not just friendly, but practically throws a touchdown party whenever Young's on the field. Who needs capes when you got Monkey? Now, this guy's pretty good. Is he my number 33 overall? No, I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think he's worth a 33 pick. I really don't. Now, if we want to go back and look at these other positions, or go back to the wide receiver position, another one I can see is going after is Mr. Troy Franklin. Okay. Now, this guy would be worth the 33 overall pick for sure, right? He had over 81 receptions, over 1,300 yards, and 14 touchdowns, and averaged 17.1 per catch. It's pretty damn good. So I might say this a little premature, but like trying to put a tuxedo. What I'm trying to say is that some may say it's a bit premature, but like trying to put on a tuxedo before you learn to, tie your shoes. But I think the Panthers doubled down their quest on this, obviously on their offensive journey to obviously rebuild this roster, right? I think snagging Troy Franklin will be a great move because with the grace of a gazelle and a hand softer than a cloud, Franklin brings a touch of magic to the Panthers wide receiver core. And who needs David Copperfield when you've got Franklin making footballs disappear into the end zone? I mean, this guy's an absolute stud. If you haven't watched this game film, go watch this game film. It's great to break down. I've watched this game film. Another guy that I think that they could possibly take here. And it's another wide receiver, of course, because this wide receiver group is just stacked. Adonian Mitchell, 6'4", 196, had 55 receptions, over 800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 15 receptions, runs a 4.5 40, right? And the Panthers, ever the risk takers that they are, which we've seen, I think they see potential where others see, rawness. And I think Adonia Mitchell, who has this untamed athleticism, technique as loose as a goose on a roller coaster, might just be that diamond in the rough what they're searching for in that wide receiver position. Now, after all, who needs well-oiled machine when you got a wild stallion ready to break free? Now, another one that I could see here, we're going to go offensive line. And another guy that I could see falling down to that position, of course, Jordan Morgan. But another guy I really like is Graham Barton, 6'5", 314. This guy plays left tackle, but he can also be a guard. He's a tackle or a guard, right? So he can either play left tackle or the left guard, right? Obviously, protection Bryce Young is the name of the game. We've been over this before. So the Panthers are playing, obviously, for keeps. So with the finesse of a surgeon, right, the strength of a freight train, Graham Barton emerges as that guardian angel on that offensive line. Whether plugging holes or standing tall at the tackle, Barton is a versatile linchpin to the Panthers' needs. Who needs a Swiss Army knife when you've got Barton, jack of all trades of the gridiron? So I like Graham Barton at 33 as well. Draft Jordan Morgan from Icky to left tackle. I mean, that's another move. I've broken that down too before. Black Mamba, that wide receiver from Georgia does have that dog in him. A lot of people are comparing him. A lot of people are comparing him to, his comparison gets the Cooper Cup look. His Cooper Cup. Would love to get Ladd and Johnny Wilson. It would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty interesting. For sure. For us wanting to hire, wanting to hire within the organization, we should have hired Brandon Bean. We would have capitalized on the investment sooner than repeat the cycle of his mess. Just my thought. I like Brandon Bean too, Dom. I thought that was a big mistake, losing him as well. Who scored more points in 2024? Panthers. Don, that's a good question. Now, based off of these positions, if we go through all of them, though, another guy that we could also probably get at that 33 pick is I've seen him fall. I've seen Amarius Mims. He's a right tackle though. I think it also depends on that situation with Taylor Moton. Keon Coleman, I've seen him fall down to 33. I just don't know if he will. Jordan Morgan at 33 is another guy that we could get. Like Black Mamba says, I've done a mock draft before where I've taken him at 33 and I got a wide receiver the next pick, right? So you killed two birds with one stone, right? Troy Fonatu could also be there. Another left tackle out of Washington. Very good pass protector. So you could get him at 33. We already talked about Adonia Mitchell, Ladd Munkin, Xavier Legette, another guy. I think this guy's the next coming of how he's built. I know he's only 6'1", but how he's built and how he runs and how he plays, it reminds me a lot of another DK Metcalf, a DK Metcalf 2.0. That's a guy I've seen that been available at 33. If we continue to go through here, Patrick Paul, I've seen at 33. I've seen Jonas Ellis available at 33. If you decide to go to the edge, that defensive end edge route, there's Graham Barton. Here's another guy, Jackson Powers Johnson. So we've talked about him before. I have been very clear on Jackson Powers Johnson, how important it is to have a stable center on your team. And Jackson Power Johnson is that guy. He is an absolute stud. There he is. I think this is him. Is this him? No, that's not him. Hold on. I'm looking at my. Okay, here it is. I'm looking at my draft board. And I'm trying to find him. All right. So based off of my understanding about this kid, okay, the center in the NFL is the center, and I, no pun intended, is the centerpiece of your offense, right? He's basically your quarterback's right-hand man, right? That's why Kelsey is so good. But when it comes to this guy, Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ, which Marcos Cash mentioned him in the chat earlier. Also, guys, make sure you pound the like button. We're on the road to 10K. So the more you like, the more people get in here. I greatly appreciate it. But when it comes to the run game, Powers Johnson is a force to be reckoned with. Okay. His playing style is characterized by a tenacious, aggressive approach, which allows him to take control of the line of scrimmage. He's particularly, because this is what I put down as my notes about him, he particularly generates a strong push right off from the offset of the play, like right out the gate, right? And so, which puts him in a prime position to create run lanes for the ball carrier. So his ability to sustain his blocks, keep his feet moving, also makes him an effective run blocker throughout the duration of play. Overall, Powers Johnson is a valuable asset to any team looking to establish a dominant run game. What are we trying to do here, though? What are we trying to do? We're trying to build around Bryce. Now, his PFF grade isn't bad either, right? Panthers passed on a lot of good players, and these passed. Oh my God, no kid. Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain. That's just a few. Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's just the 4 off the top of the dome I can think of, Dom. There's definitely more though. There's like a list that goes on there. But like Jackson Powers Johnson's got a great PFF grading. Let me find him real quick. There he is. Okay, Mac Jones. That's a far-fetched one. But this guy, even though he's very good at run blocking, and if you're trying to run a dominant run game, it doesn't matter. He's a great pass blocker. I mean, look at this, a 90.6 pass blocking grade. He also has experience in the right guard position and the left guard position. Okay. Gap grade 70, zone grade 83.2, true pass set pass blocking is 87.1. Why do you think Bo Nix was able to throw as much as he did? Because of this guy right here. This guy that we were just talking about. This guy right here. Jackson Powers Johnson. Creed Humphreys. Yeah. These players we're looking at probably will not be there at 33. Jackson Powers Johnson will be. Adonia Mitchell will be. Xavier Legette will be. Graham Barton will be. I promise you, these guys will be available. These guys that I'm mentioning will be available at 33. Okay. Now, we can go through the list of who won't be available at 33. I would say Marius Mims, that I did mention him, would probably not be available at 33. Jackson Powers Johnson could be a first round pick, though. I will say Rock is right in one aspect that Jackson Powers Johnson probably won't be available in the second round. I could see him going at like in the 20s, early 20s, like between 20 and 23. So that's going to be a difficult one. I can see Troy Franklin also being in that range of that 20, 24, 27 range pick as well. Bet you Clay Powers Johnson. I just said it though. I did just say I could see him being in the first round, Rock. I just said that. Think Troy Franklin, his partner in crime, could be a first round pick. I think Jordan Morgan could be a first round pick. Now, Lad Monken could go in the first round too. He could be like the 31st pick, right? But that would still leave guys like Troy Fonatu, Keon Coleman could be available. Jonah Ellis, if we decide to go to edge route. Adonia Mitchell would be there. Zach Frazier's another center that we could get that could be available. Graham Barton, I still think will be available. Xavier Legette, I think will be available. Patrick Paul's another guy that I think will be available if we decide to go tackle in the second round. Definitely Jalen Polk will be available. Christian Haynes would be available. So the list goes on. There's a lot of guys that I still think would be some good talent that still would be available if we weren't able to get some of these other guys at that 33 pick. But but based off of the list of guys that we were going over, I can see Troy Franklin and Jackson Powers Johnson being first round picks. I really do. So, but there's a lot of talent here in this year's draft, class. So, I mean, because when it comes to the NFL draft is a game of chess, right? The thing is for the Carolina Panthers, they are going to have to make their moves with this mix of prerogative, I guess, pragmatism, and I'm trying to think of the word trying to think of the right word. I want to put this here, but either way, they're obvious. You got to seek to build a roster as dynamic as possible and as diverse as the city they call home, right? So we shall see what they do, right? And as the dust settles and the picks are in, I think one thing's for certain is that the Panthers are playing the long game, right? Because we're in full rebuild mode. We just have to be ready to pounce on every opportunity that comes our way. And we have to maneuver, we're going to have to take some risk, and we're going to have to make some strategic moves and some tough decisions to rebuild this roster, whether it's through the draft or free agency. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We've been on here for an hour and a half, and I'm hungry. Clay, can I be your Madden GM? I need to figure out how to get Madden content out to you guys. I'm doing pretty good, and I've been messing around with Madden, doing a rebuild. But we need to do that. I need to get that put together. So, I'm still working on that. I got the stuff to do it. I just haven't done it. So guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. We went over the Super Bowl. We went over the cap space. We went over the free agency. We went over the draft. Now it's time for the Panthers to make their moves. It's time to truly get into the off-season mode now. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Make sure you join the Discord over here. The link tree's down below, so all my links are in that. You click on it, it'll take you to all the links, even our sponsorship, of course, BetUS. Sign up free today. Get 125% bonus on your first bet. And also, you can follow me on all my social media right above here. It's in the link tree in the description of this live stream, so go check it out. And feel free to go follow me on Facebook, Twitter, I'm also on there too. We got the Rockstar Report page up on Facebook now. So if you want to go over there and follow it, please do so. It helps out, So appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Gonna hop off of here. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.